Today, Intel's desktop GPUs are doomed. A 96-core AMD CPU, Ryzen 7000 releases when Nvidia's in big trouble, and Ryzen 7000 APUs crush these Nvidia GPUs. Welcome everyone to Gamer Melt. First up for today, Intel might as well quit when it comes to their ARC GPUs. In a new report from the well-known leaker Igor's lab, multiple sources have told him that Intel's desktop Alchemist GPUs have been postponed yet again. In fact, it looks like they won't be released until late summer. More specifically, he's hearing sometime between July 1st and August 31st. As for why, it looks like Intel is still having issues with their drivers. And of course, this is shortly after the company failed to meet their own deadline with the new driver for their mobile ARC GPUs. Basically, things are not looking good for Intel's first real jump into the discrete GPU market. And honestly, if they don't come up with something soon, both Nvidia and AMD will have released their next-gen cards. Maybe Intel can get it right with Battlemage. But first, there's never been a better time to enter the computer field. With an expected growth of 22% through 2030, computer science is set to be one of the fastest growing professions in the world. So learn the right way with the #1 place I recommend, Brilliant, the sponsor of today's video. For those who don't know, Brilliant is an online learning platform that teaches you by actually making things fun. Meaning instead of boring lectures or having you memorize a bunch of formulas, Brilliant actually shows you with interactive challenges. And they even have learning paths for professionals with an order of courses to take. And the best part is that you can try it for free when you visit brilliant.org/gamermelt. Plus, if you decide to subscribe, the first 200 of you who visit the link will get 20% off the annual premium. So check that out today. Next up, while AMD is yet to confirm that they plan to continue along with their Threadripper lineup, it looks like they are in fact set to release a Zen 4 based Threadripper. According to a video from Moore's Law is Dead, a next-gen Threadripper Pro is coming, and at least according to one source, it's set to come with a whopping 96 cores, meaning AMD is planning to up the core count of their next-gen series of HEDT CPUs. Now, according to the video, there could be a regular Threadripper release, but they really don't know. AMD only announced Threadripper Pro with their 5,000 parts, so the company could be done with releasing non-pro variants for enthusiasts. As for release, nothing was mentioned, but I wouldn't expect them anytime soon. Next up for today, we finally have a much better time frame for the release of AMD's Ryzen 7000 CPUs. Up until now, we've only really known sometime in the second half of this year, but according to a new report from DigiTimes, AMD is set to release their Ryzen 7000 CPUs along with their AM5 platform as early as September. Of course, that's still a little ways off, but AMD is set to make a debut at Computex this month, so we'll likely hear more about their upcoming CPUs then. And of course, if you want to keep up with all the news from that, make sure you're subscribed to Gamer Melt. Next up, we have two stories that show Nvidia not only deceived gamers, but even shareholders, and they're in some serious trouble. First up, it looks like Nvidia's light hash rate, or LHR, has been completely bypassed. That's right, it's done. Up until now, miners needed to mine 2 cryptocurrencies at once to fully utilize one of Nvidia's newer gaming GPUs. Now, there's a new override from NiceHash that's been confirmed to give 100% efficiency on an RTX 3080 Ti. Now, it does require a certain mining algorithm, and some miners are having issues with certain cards, but it has been done. Not only that, but it's been bypassed in Linux as well. Basically, Nvidia seems to have lied when it comes to their hash rate limiter. When it was first announced, Nvidia claimed it could not be hacked, as there was a handshake between the driver and BIOS, blah blah blah. Well, that's pretty clearly not true. And that's not the only thing Nvidia did wrong, but this one they're actually getting punished for. In a new press release by the SEC, they've charged Nvidia for failure to disclose the impact of crypto mining during 2018. According to the press release, Nvidia reported on revenue growth in its gaming business on 2 of its Forms 10Q. The problem is that they didn't disclose that the growth in gaming was at least partially due to crypto miners. And that's a problem because cryptocurrencies are quite volatile, so investors couldn't properly assess their risk. In the end, the SEC fined Nvidia $5.5 million for failing to disclose the information. Of course, for a company like Nvidia, $5.5 million isn't much, but hopefully it can at least deter them from doing something like this again in the future. And lastly for today, it looks like AMD's Ryzen 7000 APUs are set to be more powerful than I ever imagined. If you've been following the channel, you know that leaker Red Gaming Tech originally claimed that AMD's next-gen APUs, codenamed Phoenix, are set to double the core count of their integrated GPUs. Later, AMD released a roadmap that not only confirmed Phoenix, but showed us a second APU lineup. At the time, I assumed this new codename was the big APU jump, but given it comes with DDR5, I'm thinking that it's essentially Raphael Mobile. Remember that AMD's Ryzen 7000 CPUs are rumored to come with a small iGPU, so they could essentially be bin desktop CPUs, and they would likely be paired with a discrete GPU, and that would make the Phoenix APU lineup the better integrated GPU. Well, in a new tweet from known leaker Greymon55, AMD's Phoenix APUs are equal to a 3060 mobile GPU. Yeah, a 3060. Basically, AMD's next-gen APUs won't just dominate low-end cards, but even the mid-range. Of course, by next year, the new generation of cards should be out, but still, that's a big deal. Not only that, but Red Gaming Tech stated that they've heard it destroys the 6500 XT and 2060, so that sounds about right. All in all, AMD's next-gen APUs will completely change the discrete GPU market. So while that does it for today, what do you think about that whole Nvidia story? And are you pumped for AMD's Ryzen 7000 APUs? Let me know down in the comments below. And make sure to check out Brilliant in the description below. And as always, have a great day!